Your AAA Foundation for Traffic Safety welcomes you to Driving in Bad Weather. We're going to learn to drive safely in adverse conditions, and we'll answer questions like, what's the most important thing you can do to improve safety when visibility is bad? How can you improve safety when driving in the rain? And what can you do to improve safety when driving in snow and on ice? We'll answer all of these questions and more in Driving in Bad Weather.
Hi, welcome to Driving Safety. I'm Patrice King-Brown.
And I'm John Burnett, and this installment of Driving Safety is concerned with driving under adverse conditions.
What do you mean adverse conditions?
Bad conditions. Working against you when you drive. Things like rain, fog, smoke, and snow.
As we explore some of the ways we can control adverse conditions, we're going to attempt to answer the questions we heard at the beginning of the program.
The first question is, what's the most important thing you can do to improve safety in adverse driving conditions?
And the answer is slow down. In all adverse driving situations, speed is your greatest enemy.
Good point, Patrice. Now, let's look at driving safely in some adverse conditions.
Our first example will be driving when visibility is limited by fog, sand, dust, or smoke. These drivers are not having fun. They're in a fog right now, but the tips we have work in smoke, dust, or sand as well.
Safety experts tell us what these drivers should be doing. First of all, they should have their lights on and their emergency flashers, if the state where they're driving allows, to increase their visibility to other drivers. Lights should be on low beam. High beams only blind you because the fog bounces the light right back into your eyes. The low beams sweep the right side of the roadway, allowing you to see the edge stripe on the road.
So when you run into fog, dust, sand, or smoke, you should slow down gradually, not suddenly, and turn on your low beams and your emergency flashers if your state vehicle code allows them. Maintain a slow and steady pace. Turn on your windshield wipers and think about finding an exit or a parking lot where you can pull over.
Just pulling over to the edge of the road and stopping is probably not a good idea. If there's traffic coming up behind you, it might drift onto the shoulder because of the limited visibility and hit your car. So, if you do have to pull over, get as far away from the road area as possible. Turn off all your lights and get out of your car and move as far away from traffic as you can.
What's the most important thing you can do to improve safety in the fog, other than slowing down, I mean?
The safest thing? I'd say park it, Patrice. Get well off the road and wait.
Now let's talk about driving in the rain. Wet pavement can mean real trouble.
Wet roads mean reduced traction. You can skid on curves, and it takes longer to stop.
The greatest danger in rain is a treacherous effect called hydroplaning. Hydroplaning takes place when the tire tread rides on top of the water because the grooves can't carry water away fast enough. Often a car that hydroplanes will start to skid out of control while driving straight on a level road. It's a frightening condition that can happen at speeds as low as 30 miles per hour.
And there's another kind of hydroplaning that can take place right at the beginning of a rain, when just a little bit of water mixes with the grease and oil on the road surface. The water and oil combine to make a slippery coating on the road surface. Drivers can lose control of their cars at very low speeds.
You have to stay alert for these dangers and know how to respond when rain threatens. First, before you even start out, make sure your car is prepared for rain.
Make sure that your car's windshield wipers and washers are working properly. Check to see that the wiper arms hold the blades tightly against the windshield and that blades are made of good live rubber. And make sure the washer reservoir is filled with an approved windshield washer solvent.
And the most important thing that must be prepared is your battery. Without the battery, none of the systems that make your car safe in bad weather will work. What's the most important thing you can do to improve safety in the rain, in addition to slowing down?
Well, that would have to be keeping properly inflated tires on your car, Patrice.
That's right. Good tires give better traction and are less likely to hydroplane.
You'll feel a lot more confident knowing that your car is prepared for bad weather.
When you see a truck coming toward you when the road is wet, remember that a truck is going to throw water onto your windshield. Turn your wipers on in advance and you won't have to drive blind for several seconds while your car's safety systems get up to speed.
Now, the first thing to do when you see drops on the windshield is to slow down.
Remember, it takes twice as much distance to stop your car when the pavement is wet. Forget reaction time. Forget how long it takes to stop your car when it's dry. There's really no comparison when the road is wet. You have to leave more safety cushion between your car and the traffic in front of you.
To figure the cushion you need, use the 2-second rule. The rule states that on dry pavement, you need 2 to 3 seconds of safe following distance to steer evasively. So never allow less than 2 to 3 seconds between you and the car in front of you.
To figure the distance between your car and the vehicle ahead, notice when the rear of the vehicle passes a fixed point, such as a tree or a sign. Count 1 second 1, 2 second 2. In dry weather, if the front of your car passes the point before you finish, 2 second 2, you're following too closely. But in wet weather, you need twice as much reaction time. You need 5 to 6 seconds between you and the car in front.
Now, if you try to stop and your car begins to skid, keep calm and take your foot off the accelerator. To prevent the wheels from locking, press or squeeze the brake pedal firmly to a point just before the wheels lock and hold it there. This is called threshold braking. If the wheels start to skid, reduce the pressure very slightly and add pressure again as needed. Release the pressure on the brake pedal as the car comes to a stop. When you purchase a car, you should consider buying one that has anti-lock brakes.
An anti-lock brake system will prevent your brakes from locking wheels of the car, which means you'll be able to steer while you brake.
When the car is skidding, turn the steering wheel in the direction you want your car to go. Steering works the same way it does on dry pavement, just not as well. But these maneuvers are a last resort. The best thing to do is to avoid situations like this by reducing your speed when it begins to rain. Now, let's take a look at techniques for driving in snow or ice. Even though snow and ice make roads extremely unsafe, there are some things that you can do to increase your chances. And here are some strategies safety experts have come to agree on.
First, like any other dangerous situation, half the battle is being prepared. When autumn comes around, drivers should see to it that their cars are winterized. You should get your car a winterizing tune-up.
Replace hoses and belts, check or replace antifreeze, fill windshield washer reservoirs, and replace wiper blades.
And for traction, tires are obviously crucial in helping you get a grip on the road for winter driving. Appropriate tires are a must in climates where snow is a yearly affair. Most cars are fitted with radial tires these days, but remember, front-wheel drive and rear-drive models are both common. If you do install special tires for bad weather, be sure they go on the wheels that get the power.
The value of front-wheel drive is that the wheels that are providing power are also steering, so the car is much more likely to follow the driver's commands.
But how should you drive when a winter road gets really slippery?
Well, the main thing, Patrice, is to take it easy. You want to leave even more safety cushion than you would in the rain. Remember, stopping on ice or snow takes up to 12 times longer than it does on dry pavement. And making a car go on snow or ice is no easy task either. The amount of traction you get depends mainly on the condition of the road. The most important thing is to increase power gradually.
Too much accelerator only spins the wheels, heating up the tires and turning snow to ice. And once you get going, there are hazards you just can't predict. A patch of glare ice which covers a portion of the road, frost on a bridge surface, or ice formed by water running onto the road.
It's hard to plan for the unexpected, so remember to drive slower when traction or visibility are bad.
If your vehicle should start to skid, follow the same steps you would for skidding in the rain. Steer the car in the direction you want it to travel. Let up on the gas. And use the threshold braking technique we explained earlier.
With a little planning and caution, winter driving can be a lot safer.
What would you say is the most important thing a driver can do to improve safety in winter driving other than slowing down?
I would say that would have to be prepared, Patrice. You might want to carry along a winter car care kit just in case you need it, and take a heavy blanket too.
Let's sum up. In any adverse condition, fog or smoke, rain or snow, the #1 rule is to slow down. If you can't see to drive, try to get well off the road and wait. Keep safe following distances. Make sure your battery, windshield wipers, and tires are in top shape. Learn how to control your car in a skid and be prepared for emergencies.
That's right. And if we put the ideas in these reports into practice, we'll all have better experiences driving in adverse conditions.
Thanks for joining us.